Good morning, everyone. Myself, Satya. I will be facilitating this training. I welcome you all for this AWS Associate Level training. To receive the regular updates about the training, please do subscribe to this channel and enable the notification if you haven't done yet. So we are on day 5. Today's class will cover a variety of important topics. The agenda for today's class is displayed on your screen. So the first topic for today is cloud deployment model. What exactly is cloud deployment model? A cloud deployment model indicates where the infrastructure for the deployment resides, who has control over that infrastructure, and how the cloud services are made available to the users. So there are 4 cloud deployment models are available: a public cloud, private cloud, community cloud, and a hybrid cloud. So while selecting the cloud deployment model, the residency, ownership, and shared obligations must be carefully considered. So this decision will have a substantial impact on the organization's performance, such as cost and budget, risk management and handling, resource allocation, business strategy, and objectives. So let us examine the various cloud deployment models and what are their benefits and drawbacks. So to begin with, we have a public cloud deployment. In a public cloud, you share the same hardware, storage, and networking devices with other organizations, also referred to as cloud tenants. So users will have access these hosted cloud services and manage them using a web browser. So here, a tenant is referred to another user or a customer who shares the same hardware resources or the servers with you. So the resources in public cloud are offered on pay-as-you-go use basis. So examples of popular public cloud solutions include Gmail, Google Drive, Hotmail, AWS, Azure, Google Cloud Platform, etc. So here, why not Facebook? Facebook is almost similar, right? The services what Gmail, Hotmail they are offering. But here, the thing is, Facebook, they do not offer cloud storage product. It is a social media platform, hence do not fall under the category of cloud deployment. Let us try to dissect it further to understand how a public cloud service is provided. A public cloud configuration will resemble an apartment building with several homes. Each apartment building or a block might contain different sized homes, right? Such as a 2 BHK or 3 BHK bedroom, correct? So here, the construction company constructs and maintains the apartment building. Similarly, AWS constructed the server. Within the server, created several virtual machines of various capacities and made it available to customers or business on a rental basis. So the AWS server serves as an apartment building, and the virtual machines serves as individual homes of varying sizes. So the individual user's virtual machine will have complete privacy, even though they are hosted on the same base server hardware. I hope now you have good understanding of how a public cloud service is provided. So what are the advantages of using a public cloud? First thing is affordability. There are no setup fees or upfront expenditures. The same thing happens with our EC2 instance, right? When we are creating a virtual machine, we are not paying any cost, correct? So next comes the scalability. Users can quickly scale up or scale down their public cloud solution as per the demand. Further, the next benefit is easy to manage. Public clouds require zero maintenance since the service provider maintains them. And last but not least is flexible pricing. Pricing structures are highly flexible. And today in upcoming slides, we'll be touching upon all these topics. So what are all the drawbacks? The drawbacks are no infrastructure control. That means the users don't own that public cloud. Hence, they need to rely on the policies of the service provider. Next comes the high cost, the cost of use. Though there is no upfront expenditure, but as a user, you need to pay monthly usage charges. So your cost can go up as your consumption increases. That's the model, right? What we use pay as you go model. So the more you consume the resources, the more you pay. It's like that. And further, we have no speed guarantee. So accessing speed may be impacted. It is just like our high traffic demands in our neighborhood can have an impact on the internet speeds, correct? The same way here also. So the next cloud deployment model is a private cloud. Here, your cloud infrastructure needs are provisioned on a separate hardware or server that is specifically designed for you. It is customized private business network. It is like a complete one apartment building, you own it, like our Mukesh Ambani's Antilla. So the entire premises he owns, right? So it's completely privatized, completely private. No other tenant is allowed. So such infrastructure may be handled either directly by the business or by a service provider like AWS, Azure, IBM, whoever it is. So these service providers manage the infrastructure either on-site, that is on-premises data center, or off-site, that is in the cloud. So some of the popular private cloud service providers are HP, Hewlett-Packard Enterprise, VMware, Dell EMC, Oracle, IBM. There are many. So what are all the advantages of using a public cloud? A private cloud. Here, the customization, the main benefit is the customization. You can customize your cloud environment that suits your needs because you own that base bare metal hardware in that data center, that particular server, you own it. So you can customize that. Whatever operating system that you want, customized operating systems that you can install. So the same thing is not available with public cloud. High performance. With dedicated hardware, private cloud performance will be significantly superior as compared to other cloud deployment models. The last but not least is the security. Since the resources are not shared with anyone else, that increases the security. So what are all the drawbacks? What are all the disadvantages? It is quite expensive. There will always be a higher upfront fees because you are leveraging private infrastructure. No scalability. If resources are no longer required, they cannot be reduced. Scaling up or scaling down the infrastructure are limited. In case of public cloud, what happens? All of a sudden, you need another 4 virtual machines to add up. Within no time, you can spin off. You can create new virtual machines. Suppose you do not need the additional virtual machines, what you have created, there is no demand, you can immediately decommission it. You can go with the bare one virtual machine for your use. So likewise, you can go up or go down. You can scale up or scale down. Menu, are you able to see my slides? I'm moving the slides up and down.
Yes, yes. No. Only I'm able to see agenda file screen only. I'm not able to see any other screens.
Okay. Give me a minute. Okay, how about now? Can you see the slides?
Now able to see PPT.
Okay, good. I'm sorry for that.
Okay, so will you share this PPT also in the YouTube?
No, PPT will not be shared.
Okay.
Only the lab exercises will be shared in YouTube that you can access it.
Okay, yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. So this is what we were discussing, the cloud deployment model, where we have 4 types of deployment models are available: a public cloud, private cloud, community cloud, and the hybrid cloud. So we just touched upon the public cloud. So the public cloud is where you share the same hardware, the base server hardware in the data center. The same server will be shared with many users. So these users are called cloud tenants. Okay, so because we have multiple users using the same hardware. So here some of the popular public cloud deployment or Dropbox, Gmail, Google Drive, GoDaddy, the web host server, Microsoft Office 365, Microsoft OneDrive. These are all the popular examples of public cloud. So next we were referring to the private cloud. So here the cloud infrastructure, the base bare metal server is completely dedicated to one single user. So no tenant or no other customer or organization is allowed to use that server. It's completely dedicated. So here, because that server is completely dedicated and made specifically for you, it is quite expensive. And same time, no scalability. You cannot increase all of a sudden if you want to increase the hard disk or storage space, if you want to increase the memory, or you want to have another virtual machine spontaneously, that is not possible. Whereas in case of public cloud, yes, that is possible. So the third cloud deployment model is hybrid cloud. So hybrid cloud is connecting both a public cloud and a private cloud infrastructure. So that is on premises and the cloud data center. So when companies need to quickly scale up their IT infrastructure, they employ this technique. So sensitive data is still kept in the private cloud, which can maintain strict security requirements. So operations that do not involve sensitive data are carried out in the public cloud, where costs are lower. So some of the popular hybrid cloud services are Netflix, Hulu, Google application suite like Gmail, Google Apps, Google Drive. They're all popular hybrid cloud service models. So what are the advantages, the main advantages of hybrid cloud? It is very flexible. So you can distribute the resources to either private or public cloud storage, depending on where, when, and how you need to use these resources. Further scalability. The same kind of dynamic scalability offered by public clouds is also provided by hybrid clouds, because it is a combination of both public and private cloud, right? So we can get the leverage of scalability. So whatever is available in public cloud. Next comes the initial cost. Users can mix and match how they use public and private cloud resources. So upfront cost will be very limited. It will be less. Easy to implement. For a smooth transition, hybrid clouds can be introduced gradually into corporate process. You need not to invest at one single go. You need not to plan everything at one single go and implement. As and when steadily your corporate business grows, as and when you have more requirement, you can add up additional resources, since we have the public cloud backup here. And what are all the drawbacks? The drawbacks or disadvantages or integration. Building a cloud infrastructure across different locations require very strong compatibility and integration, because there needs very highly sophisticated, skilled resources, manpower is needed to implement, because we are combining a hybrid, a public cloud and a private cloud together, because both work in a different way. So we need to have skilled manpower resources to integrate this and manage that. It is complex, yes. As your business expands, managing a mix of private and public clouds may become more challenging. And last but not least is cost. Over time, hybrid cloud systems may increase in cost because there is also a private cloud embedded into it. So you need to look at how you are paying for different elements of your hybrid cloud services. So these are all some of the drawbacks of a hybrid cloud. In the cloud deployment model, we have the last but not least is the community cloud. This is another type of cloud deployment model. So it is more modern version of a private cloud concept offered to certain corporate communities. It is owned, managed, and operated by one or more organizations belongs to a same community. So this model helps multiple organizations sharing computing resources that are part of a community. So here, the best example for a community cloud will be our universities who share their research papers, etc., with other universities. Similarly, our police departments within a country who share the criminal records from between different states, correct? Similarly, our regional RTOs of each state, that is a regional transport office, who will share all their all vehicle registration information. So if you're driving your car from your state to the neighboring state, when you enter inside that next state, they the RTO people, they'll be able to get all the required information because they share the same infrastructure. It's a community cloud. So both the state, multiple states, they will have all the infrastructure. So there is a, yes, please.
Yeah, and that means it is only data sharing, right? It is not the cloud-based.
It is not just the data shared, it is the sharing of the data center itself.
Center. Maybe they are giving some APIs or something to
exactly.
communicate with the data, but
That is
it
correct.
is not exactly the data. I mean, the server sharing, right?
Yeah, of course, it is a server sharing itself. It is a server sharing. You can fetch the data, but it will be limited. For whichever the portion of that server access is provided, you can share.
Okay.
In the networking, how we add up multiple networks into one VPN,
Yes,
virtual private network, the same way here also.
Okay.
Okay. So this is the community cloud. Of course, here also there are few benefits and drawbacks. The benefits are openness. Community clouds are open systems that eliminate organizations' dependency on cloud service providers. So they need not to depend on the cloud service providers because they have their own multiple on-premises data centers that are clubbed together. Okay, that is there on a common network that has a VPN backbone. So cost efficiency. The community cloud allows multiple and different users to connect with the same environment. It offers cost-effective solutions for organizations. And the last but not least is scalability. The cloud community offers the same level of availability and scalability as the cloud service providers. Since they own the infrastructure, as and when they need, they can scale up. They have direct access. So what are all the drawbacks? The drawback is it is a very rare type of deployment. So this cloud deployment is less common than other deployment models because it is necessary to locate other organizations with similar requirements. So unless you find another organization, they have a similar kind of setup, they wish to share their data, you will not be able to set up this deployment model. Next comes the complex. Implementation can be complex and has to be handled by a service partner with extensive experience in cloud deployments. And the last thing is it is high cost. So relatively high cost and has limited bandwidth and storage. Because you own that infrastructure, you cannot keep investing on specific thing, right, to upgrade. So whatever the limited resources that you have, you need to play around with the same thing. So this is all about the cloud deployment model. In the previous class, we learned about cloud delivery models. The delivery model is infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, software as a service, correct? That is delivery model. This is the deployment model, how you want to deploy your hardware resources, the virtual hardware resources. So this brings to an end of the topic of a cloud deployment model. So the next topic is EC2 instance of family.